Hi everybody and welcome back to Tales of Wanderlust. I'm Cass, this is Jasper, and really sleepy Napoleon, and today we are going to talk about mattresses and memory foam toppers for the base camp. So if you're curious about how to sleep comfortably, stay tuned. I've owned the base camp now for 3 years, and through those 3 years I've gone through a few different bed setups, but 3 years in and my back is starting to ache. Sleeping full-time on the setup I have currently really is not the best. So today I'm going to bring in a new king-size memory foam mattress. We're gonna cut it to shape. There are a few things that I'm going to have to figure out as I go. There's a storage bench on that side, and on this side is the bench where the Truma is. I do have the bed mod, so the storage bench on this side is cut. So I have one section which is probably about 2 feet roughly wide, and that opens up separately. I have had a bed before where it was built for just the back half of the base camp, and then it kept this bed mod section all open. I could have the table up by itself, and then I had the mattress on the back end. I actually loved that setup. The only problem was the mattress that I had was way too soft for my back. It also had a seam down the middle, and that seam I would slowly sink into at night. So I would wake up in the craziest positions, and I really had back problems when I slept that way. So I got rid of that mattress. The other thing about having that mattress, it was nice having the 2 seats and the extra floor space, and it gave me a spot where I put Napoleon's bed, and then he always had his own little corner to himself. But what I like to do is sprawl out on the bed with the back door open and read or do Sudoku puzzles and stare at the beautiful view outside. So when I had that shorter bed, I couldn't sprawl out like I like to do. You're more tucked up in the corner and it's a little more crowded. I also like to have normal sheets. Since I am living in here, I want it to feel like a real bed, and I don't want to be sleeping in a sleeping bag every single night. So by having the full sheets and then all the dog hair and the dirt that goes on this blanket, when I try to fold things up during the day, all of that dirt and hair eventually does find its way into the bed. And it really is very difficult to do with the animals and the way I have the bed set up, so I just don't do that. I've also found that I don't want to be converting things every single day. In the beginning, I thought I would. It's really not that hard. It only takes a few minutes, so in theory, it's not that big of a deal. But it gets tiring, it gets old that you have to move things constantly. So I just like having the bed set up permanently and not having to move it. In order to get that big new mattress in, I'm going to disassemble what I have here. So as I disassemble, I will show you what I currently have in my bed setup. So first on top is this blanket. I have gone through a wide variety of blankets, from really thick fleece ones my mom has made to more decorative ones. I have now ended up on these really cheap ones from Walmart. The reason I've gone with the cheap ones is that way when they get ruined and dirty, it's really easy to just swap them out. I also like having something that is really small and light, because the purpose of this is to be the animal blanket. So this blanket I will take off the bed and I will shake outside every single day. That way when Jasper brings in all of the dirt from outside, or in really rainy days when he's all muddy, all of that dirt goes onto the blanket and not onto my comforter. And then this is really small and compact. It rolls up pretty small, so I can take it and I can store it up in the cargo net, and I can have 2 of these along. So if it's a really muddy week, 2 of them will get me through a week. If it's pretty dry weather or we're in the desert where it's a little bit cleaner, I can go about 2 weeks with these blankets, and shaking them out every day makes a huge difference. Next on the bed is my duvet cover. So this was a change as well. When I first hit the road, I was used to living in my apartment, which is where I had 2 Sherpa blankets on my bed, and I absolutely love the weight of the blankets. So I brought that into the base camp because I wanted my base camp to feel like home. But with having the animals, I had to wash all of those blankets every time I changed the bed. Carrying those 2 huge blankets into a laundromat was not only a pain to transport, but it was also expensive because those blankets are so big they need their own washer and their own dryer. So when you're in the laundromat and you're paying for each load, I literally was adding on 2 additional loads every single time I went. So finally, after about 2 years of doing that, I think it was, Michael finally gave me this old duvet that he had in storage. I wish I knew what brand it was because it is amazing. It's not that thick. It is a queen size, so it is a little short on the edges. If I was buying one brand new, I would buy king size just to make sure it really covered and fit. But the queen size works well enough. It is a king size duvet cover, so that does help a little bit in the corners to get that extra fabric and tuck it in. It's only about that thick, but whatever brand this is, it is incredibly warm. So even when I go winter camping, I will have the heat set at about 42 degrees. This duvet cover is all I need to stay warm. The duvet cover itself, it is a jersey sheet type of material, and then it does have the zipper on the bottom, which makes it a whole lot easier to change. I don't use a top sheet, which I am sure grosses some of you out. I do carry multiple duvet covers. So I actually carry 3 of them with me because for me, that's how I change the sheets. I change the bottom sheet and I change the duvet cover. I used to have that top sheet, but again, it's just one more thing I have to carry, one more extra thing I have to store. So I opted for more bottom sheets and more duvet covers so I could change the sheets more often than having that extra top sheet. The bottom sheet is again just another jersey knit. When I first hit the road, I wanted high quality sheets because I'm only gonna have 1 or 2 pair, so I wanted to make sure they were really comfortable. This Calvin Klein sheet has lasted me the 3 years. It does have little holes in it from all the use, but it's still really comfortable, really soft. So it's definitely worth the money. But at the same point, I've now gotten additional sheets off of Amazon, which are also the jersey knit fabric, and they're pretty much the same, and they're about 1/3 of the price. So you can go for the fancy sheets if you want. You can go for the cheap sheets if you want. I really found in the end, they feel about the same. So for the bottom sheets, I do have the one that's on the bed, and then I do carry a spare up in the cargo net as well. Now we'll get to the 3 inches of memory foam. So you'll notice the 3 inches of memory foam actually has a duvet cover on it in order to make it more aesthetically pleasing in here. And since I have the bottom sheet on this at all times, it really isn't dirty at all. All right. So then underneath that, we have another cover. So this is a waterproof cover that I put on top of the memory foam. This is the true protection because with the animals coming in, with being outside all the time, you have no idea what's going to actually end up in your bed. So this way, even if there's wine spills in bed, anything like that, the memory foam would be completely protected, and I could always take off all the sheets and wash them if I needed to. Okay. So this memory foam is my second memory foam in the Basecamp. So with all the different bed setups that I've done, I started out with a 3-inch memory foam topper from Kohl's. I think it was a Serta. I got it on Black Friday. It was cheap. That memory foam I slept on for about a year before it started getting too compressed. And that is a year of full-time living. So it was a lot of use out of it. And then that memory foam was not very comfortable anymore. Since I knew the Serta had worn out after a year, I wanted to get something a little higher quality to see if it would work. So this is a Viscosoft 3-inch memory foam topper. It's done pretty well. I just don't find it that comfortable anymore. If I was part-time and just camping on the weekends or doing short trips, this would be perfectly fine. Being full-time and the fact that I'm a side sleeper, this does not give enough support throughout the night. And then I end up feeling the Basecamp cushions, which those are pretty firm memory foam. So that's why I'm replacing this. We're gonna give the full mattress a try. I do find I tend to swap sleeping modes in here quite often, so I might find out that this mattress only lasts me a few months or a year, and then I switch right back to this Viscosoft. I'm going to end up storing this just in case I want to switch back. Doing a 3-inch memory foam topper, you really can roll them, especially if you have a bungee cord or something. And you can shove them up in the back there pretty well. And then if you have the bed conversion, you could actually set up one of the tables with this bed conversion. and actually have part of the sitting area. And it's really that quick and easy to do. So you would just need something in order to hold that down so it doesn't roll back out. This is actually long enough that I have sat here and I've made this comfortable. You can stretch out on these cushions. It's actually pretty nice. It makes the Basecamp a lot more roomy if you do this. So now I'm already kind of missing this setup, but there's a lot of options with memory foam because all it takes to cut it is a bread knife. You can order fully customized offline if you wanted, but it's a lot more expensive. So we're gonna put the king mattress in here, we're gonna cut it to shape, we're gonna give that a try, and then we're gonna edit it as we go. All right. Vamonos. It's kind of bittersweet. These cushions haven't been out of here since I bought the Basecamp 3 years ago. Whew, it looks empty in here. The nice part is when you change these things out, it gives you opportunity to clean. All right, it's empty. Let's get the big mattress in here. All right. Whew. Forget rolling tires around for fitness. You should roll memory foam mattresses around. I'm gonna have to look up the weight on this. It's heavy. It's gotta be 70 or 80 pounds at least. It is one thing to consider. I saved some weight pulling all the cushions and everything out, but this is heavier. If you're thinking of doing this, just remember the Basecamp has a max cargo capacity, and this is like 10% of that. Now for the fun part where it just basically blows up. You can hear it sucking air. It fits beautifully. Now that I'm thoroughly dirty. Oh my gosh, this is comfortable. Oh my gosh. Oh, it does have a pretty strong smell to it. Oh wow, this is comfortable. I'm gonna let it air out for a little bit and also make sure it fully inflates. And then we're gonna come back and cut it to shape. It is time. This one actually has a secondary cover on it. It is heavy. The Basecamp, and this is the second or third memory foam I've cut to size, so I've done this a few times. The Basecamp starts at a full king size width right here in the middle, and then it slowly tapers back. So even 3 feet past that arm wrench, you'll see it's sticking up against the wall here. And the reason is because it's starting to taper. The other trick is I'm gonna leave it a little bit tighter in certain areas. That way, if down the road I do need to start cutting out different shapes so I can take them in and out so I can get to the storage bench, it'll still be tight, because by being tight, those seams are going to be a lot less noticeable, where if it has a little room to move and give, the memory foam will actually move apart from each other. So that's the plan. If you have an electric knife, it'd be easier than this, but I don't, so bread knife it is. They actually only glue the memory foam together on the edge. In the middle, you just basically have 2 pieces of memory foam together. So it means it's going to move a little bit. And if you have the ability to, it is a lot easier to take the Basecamp cushions, lay them out somewhere flat outside the Basecamp, put the king size memory foam, and then trace it and cut it out. But with the mattress being almost 80 pounds, there is no way I could have done that and then wrangled this thing inside by myself. So that's why we're doing it where I'm cutting it inside, which is definitely harder than when I've done this before, because I'm gonna have to do a lot of cuts, where before, when you have it actually outlined, you can really just follow the pattern and you only have to cut it once. It's a lot harder in here. The dangers of memory foam cutting. I am covered in little pieces. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. We're gonna fold this, we're gonna drag it out the back door, And then I am gonna lay it on the cushions and cut it around the cushions because these corners are really hard to make perfect and I don't wanna ruin the mattress. So, I'm gonna figure this out. I hope that was a good idea. Oh. Since it's out of the base camp anyway, we're gonna give it about 24 hours, maybe a little bit more, to finish off gassing, and then I'll put the waterproof cover on it. So that's it for today. After I let the mattress air out for a few days, I actually forgot to film putting it back into the RV. I was planning on trying to get it back in the base camp myself, but it was really hard to try to fold it, slide it up into the base camp. So I waited for Michael to get home, and then he and I put the mattress through the back door back here into the base camp. So once it was back in the base camp, I put the waterproof cover on it. I made it up the exact same way I used to. And I am now here in rainy but beautiful Telluride, Colorado. It's actually day 3 of rain. This guy and I got stuck in a hailstorm this morning when we were on our morning walk. Deer coming. That's actually hail starting right now. Thankfully, it's really small hail, so it hasn't been damaging. It's just loud on the RV and cold if you're walking in it. So now that I have been sleeping on the bed for a week and a half, how comfortable is it? It is very comfortable. I wish I had done this a long time ago. I have not slept this well in the base camp ever. Bed. So now all of us are really enjoying the bed. Napoleon, since it has been so cold and rainy, has not left his bed in almost 3 days. He comes out to eat and drink, and then he goes right back to bed. So he is sound asleep. Cutting the bed, now that it's in, there's one thing I wish I had changed. Over here, it fits snugly in here. I actually have my Victron battery monitor, as well as an outlet. And the mattress is now covering it, and it's really tight and pushed up against it. And then on the other side over here, I have a small container where I keep my cords. Next time I pull everything out, I'm probably going to pull the mattress out too and just cut those corners off. In terms of getting to the storage, I can get to the small area easy-ish. I do have to really push the mattress, which is heavy, and if I don't have a good grip on the floor, I actually slide and the mattress stays in place. So it can be pretty tricky to get in there, but I can get to that storage. That's where I keep my computer monitor, extra toilet paper, paper towel, etc. So that's great. Back here, I store my backpacking gear, so I don't have to get back there very often. I have not yet tried folding back the whole mattress to try to get to the storage, mostly because it's been raining. So my bed is covered in mud and sand, thanks to this goof here. And if I pull it back and I try to fold it, all of that sand is going to end up underneath my duvet cover, and it's not going to be a fun night's sleep. So I'm going to try that later on, but I can tell you right now it is not going to be easy. So I'm going to end up purchasing some really heavy duty bungee cords that will actually go the whole length of the bed. That way it'll stick out on one side and I can just pull it and snap it in place. So in the end, would I recommend the mattress? If you can't find a comfortable way to use a foam topper on top of the cushions, I highly recommend the mattress. I was sleeping so terribly. Jasper was flopping around all the time at night, and it really made it kind of miserable to sleep in here. So for me, the mattress is worth it. I wouldn't recommend this setup for people that are heavily using this bench as a storage area. So if you were going in and out of this storage bench all the time and you rely on the access, this isn't going to work for you. I also wouldn't recommend this if you're just using the base camp for weekend or short trips. You find that 3 inches of memory foam is comfortable enough, go for it, because the flexibility it gave you was amazing. I could fold it up underneath itself and just have it on the bed mod and have the one table open. I could roll it up completely up against the back door and then have both tables open. I could easily fold it in either direction, so I could easily access either bench. And I honestly already miss how easy it was to move that 3 inches of memory foam topper around. So in the end, it really comes down to what your use of the Basecamp and the storage area, as well as these tables are, and then how comfortable you can make the stock cushions. So that's it. That's how you take a memory foam mattress, you cut it to size, and hopefully that helps you decide which way to go with your bed in the Basecamp. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below and I'll go ahead and answer them. Jasper and I are going to curl up in bed and have a really relaxing evening since it is so cold and rainy out. Probably going to cook some dinner and then eat in bed and watch a movie. This guy is going to get some treats and hopefully make it a little bit more of a fun evening for him. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.